What's up, everybody? How's everybody's weekend going? We got a fancy new stream set up here. Oh, I almost forgot my hat. Where's my hat? I found my hat. Oh yeah, hashtag swag. Look at that. We've got chat. Never know where to point. We've got chat. Look at that. We're fancy. So, this is the first stream where we're going to be doing multi-streaming. So we've got it's a lot. So we're streaming out to our Telegram channel, Telegram, Facebook page, the CR10 Facebook group. So if you guys are watching in the CR10 Facebook group, we're live there. Twitter and Twitch. So we are hitting all things. Also, the live streams chat channel in Discord is now integrated if you haven't seen that. So yeah. So yeah, I did, after much back and forth, I did decide to keep the S1, mainly because one, I need a printer for my office downstairs. And two, we all internally talked and we thought it'd be a good idea to keep it around in case we need to, you know, do development work or design and stuff. So I do want to say, in general, the physical build quality of the printer is actually quite good. My chief complaint is how much it costs versus what you get. So at $450, it's a hard sell for me because it's not like you're getting a $450 printer that's, you know, working and ready to go out of the box. You don't have that. Mainly because the firmware, the stock firmware is just atrocious. As we saw, and I think the reason many people who did the reviews on them didn't have many problems because they just printed with included G-code that came with the printer. They didn't test power resume, they didn't test the filament outage, whereas I went and tested everything. So the problem is that means that the printer's not complete. And out of the box at $450, I don't think it's a good buy. If they brought the price down to $300, and I've said this before, when I'm evaluating a machine, I look for what does it cost, what do you get, and how many issues do you have to put up with. And at this price point, there's too many issues to put up with. And that's really what it comes down to. It's just not a very good deal because of all the problems it has. So luckily, I was able to sort out all the firmware issues. I guarantee that our firmware we put out for this works a million times better than anything Creality will put out or has put out. I was looking through their source code because they did actually release the source code. They've made a lot of changes to the core Marlin code to integrate all their cloud crap. Me personally, I'm not putting any devices from Chinese companies, any Chinese companies, on my home network. And I would highly recommend you guys don't either. I mean, I have security cameras in my house that are made in China. They're on their own isolated network. They cannot talk out to the internet because I have had issues with devices having backdoors in them. Don't take my word for it. Go and do some research. There's been a lot of things where you have these IoT devices that just have issues and they're security problems. So, yeah. But anyways, the good news is once you flash our firmware on here, you're running our version of Marlin, and you know, we don't heavily modify our version of Marlin. We have all the source code available, so you can go ahead and check what we do. So you don't have to take my word that, hey, there's nothing sketchy in here. You can check it yourself. You know, we do have our own IoT devices. We have our Easy Bulbs coming out in a couple weeks. I just sent the first batch out to a bunch of our loyal fans and followers here and good customers. So if you were, I extended the first batch to a lot of the Cult of TH3D members and kept some myself. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm very much of the mindset of I don't like putting devices on my network that I can't qualify what they're doing. So yeah, the Creality Cloud stuff will be one of them. So anyways, I am keeping the printer solely because of dev purposes. I do want to make it clear, if I was a consumer and I wasn't running this business and able to expense it and justify keeping it for development purposes, I would have returned this, to be completely honest. If I, you know, I was the same exact person, I've experienced upgrading the Ender 3, the Ender 3 Pro, which I still think is a go-to. The Ender 3 V2 is a close second after the 3 Pro. The 3 Pro is what I usually recommend if people say, hey, I want to get started in 3D printing. I'm not sure what to get. What's a good starter printer? My go-to is the Ender 3 Pro. So it's nothing against Creality. I fairly evaluate all the machines here based on all the data points. You know, and it's really a shame that they screwed up the software so bad on this, because they actually did a lot right on this machine. They have proper grounding. They have crimp ferrules on the power wires. You know, they have the dual Z with the belt linking. I love it. You know, the bed actually hits 100C. I was actually sitting here testing their magnet out, and it's pretty strong even at 100C. I don't know if it's stronger than the magnets we sell for our EZFlex, but I am going to check that out. In comparison, the magnet on here is stronger than one that comes with an Ender 3 Pro, because I have an Ender 3 Pro sitting here for a test machine. I took their same exact plate, and it is noticeably stronger, but I don't believe it's stronger than ours, especially at the higher temps. So like, I've had this sitting at 100C, and it does feel like the magnet has gotten a bit weaker, which our magnets don't do. But swapping the magnet out is not a big deal. I do appreciate that they include an actual flex plate instead of the floppy ones that are two magnets, you know, stuck together, that once you go over 60C, they basically are useless because they lose their strength. This seems to be a lot better quality magnet. So hardware-wise, they did do a lot right. At this price point, they should be including a Meanwell. The Ender 3 Pro has been on sale at Micro Center for $100. I don't know how they're doing it. They have to be selling at a loss, because just those power supplies, at cost and quantity, I'm paying about $40 to $45 a piece. So, but the point is, the Ender 3 Pro, I still think, is the sweet spot for a budget machine that you can upgrade. And that's another thing with this printer. If you're buying this printer with the intent to swap things out, change the control board, change your complete hot end setup, it's going to be a lot more difficult, because they have a proprietary board in here that uses ribbon cables. I hate ribbon cables on printers. If you're not sure what I mean by ribbon cables, I am referring, I forgot to turn this off of manual focus mode because I shot the LCD video. I'm referring to this crap. Okay, this looks pretty. But the problem is, when it comes to you as a consumer, if you guys see this stuff, you should look at this and be like, okay, if I have a problem with this, this is going to be a lot harder to repair than a standard set of wires, because good luck trying to splice this. Good luck trying to figure out what pin does what. They're all the same color, and Creality does not provide pinouts. So that's one thing I do not like, and I've said this about many other brands that have done it. I've said it on many other Creality printers that have done it. I'm not a fan of them, because it makes it harder for you to use whatever parts you want to repair the machine or upgrade it, because it's just not standard wires. You know, on like the Ender 6 or the Ender 3, I know these are the hot end wires. I know these are the thermistor wires. I know these are the stepper motor wires. I know these are the wires going to the BL Touch, etc. On this, you're going to have to take a multimeter and probe out all the pins. In terms of the actual board design, the board design is actually quite good. They actually have the earth ground isolated from the negative rail on the power supply, and they have it coupled to that through an array of capacitors. So the electronic side, I feel like the stock board is actually going to be pretty good, and it should last a while. I can't tell if they're using a higher copper count, because it does have trinamic drivers on it. But that'll be one of those things we'll tell with time as people start using it, and if the drivers start having issues, just like on Ender 3 V2, they had issues with drivers overheating. But overall, physical build quality, I would say this is well built. The main issue, like I said, is just the value. You don't get a lot of value for it. You don't get a lot of value for what you pay. And out of the box at this price point, I would expect the firmware to work. Like, period. I don't care if you're over the $300 range, and you're a Chinese printer company that's not going to provide any technical support to your customers, your stuff damn well better work out of the box. So yeah, but anyways, I am going to keep it. So Krista actually just pulled my first draft of the EZABL mount for this that I whipped up. Did that print okay? So this is just very basic. I did it in 5% infill and 0.3 layer height. That's how I prototype stuff. Oop. So we're going to see how this fits. This is just a rough fitment. And then after I do some tweaks, I make it look pretty and put our branding and stuff on it. But this is going to be intended to be mounted on the left side or right side here of the hot end with the probe hanging down. But like I said, this is just a rough draft. I don't even know if my screw holes, oh, they're pretty accurate. And I just realized I'm probably going to need to put a notch here for the screw head here. So basically I'm going to be using the 3 of the 4 screws they have you attach the hot end carriage to the printer with, and then there's just a pass through here for the one that's pre-installed. So we're also going to be taking, so we're going to be going over a bunch of stuff today, and we're just going to kind of hang out and work on the printer. And I'm going to be kitting this out because I'm going to actually be using this. So I'm going to be putting on a 5015 blower fan. I want to give a shout out to Nathan Brooks. He sent me the info for a 5015 fan design that I've already printed here in ABS. So I'm not a fan of the slanted cooler. It's okay. Personally, I think once the only modifications this has to it right now is our LCD screen and the firmware update. I did print a benchy on it, which is right here. So this is an Ender 3 profile with their traction settings changed for the direct drive. And this is coax PLA, and it's okay. It's not better than an Ender 3. Like a properly built Ender 3 will give you this kind of quality. So again, value for the money. I don't see a lot of value from this. I would pay about $300 for this machine if I was purchasing it. So not $450. Like if I was purchasing it for a personal printer and I didn't have the company, that's probably where I'd want to be at. So anyways, here's the mount. I printed this in coax ABS at a 0.2 layer head on my AM8, and this is our 24 volt 5015 fan that we carry. This is a very nice fan. It pushes a lot of air, and it's ball bearings, so it's going to last a long time. And this fits up really nice. I've linked all the parts that we're using right now in the video description. If you're watching on a platform that doesn't have a video description, you can go over to YouTube, go to our YouTube channel, and then you can see all the parts we're using. So I'm going to be changing out the cooling fan for a 5015, which will give me better print quality instead of that single one. I also just don't like how this looks hanging off the front here. I'm just nitpicking at that point. I'm putting a Meanwell power supply in it. We're going to take apart the stock power supply, and I'm going to see if I can find any manufacturer information. I did a side-by-side, just looking through the housing of the Meanwell and the other one. I do not believe it is a rebranded Meanwell. I'm pretty sure that they're just rebranding power supplies from that Chengling company they've been using for years. So we're going to change that out, and I'm just going to say now, this is a B-stock power supply. That's why it says internal use only. Because when it came, it got a little banged up, but it works just fine, and I don't care. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I get a lot of the B-stock stuff I use internally here. So, because I don't care if there's little defects. I'm going to be putting on our EZFlex plate, and I'm also just going to swap the magnet out because I'd rather just do it now while I'm working on it. This printer is going to get upgraded to all of our stuff, and then it's going to go down to my basement office. I'm going to have a Pallet 2S Pro hooked up to it with a rep box, and I'm going to use that for my machine down there, just for more fun stuff and projects. So what else? I'm going to be putting on this solid bed mounts. I probably won't be doing the EZABL today, but I do already have firmware stage on our testing branch for the EZABL. I have confirmed that our EZABL does work with this printer, and you just actually use the included Z end stop cable that they give you to go from that end stop header on the board to our control board. So we will have EZABL support on there. So far, knock on wood, I've got maybe 10 hours of printing on it, if that. The CR Touch is working. I'm getting a standard deviation with the M48 test anywhere from 0.02 millimeters down to 0.007. So it's adequate. But I know people have had issues with them, and I'm going to just run my own stuff on here. So, But if you guys are going to our firmware, the probing speed is a lot faster compared to the stock one, and the firmware actually works correctly with all slicers. It works correctly with Octoprint. I saw a lot of people leaving comments on Joel Telling's video and other places about the S1 saying that it doesn't work with Octoprint, and I believe it's because they've modified core G-code commands for their Creality Cloud crap. So I also have been working with Dave over at Insanity Automation. There's like weird graphical display issues with these. He said he's been tracking them down, and he sent me links to pull requests that he sent up to Marlon. He said he thinks he's got all of them worked out. I'm going to test it, but I'm probably just going to keep the 12864 on mine, even if this display ends up getting fully supported. It took the Marlon team about a year to get the Ender 3 V2 display fully supported, and even though these look the same, these are actually different displays. So if you go on our help center and type in DACAI, that's this brand of LCD. Even though it looks the same as the Ender 3 V2 one, it's actually a different manufacturer that's like emulating all the D-Win stuff, so it's not perfect yet. Eventually, I'm assuming Marlon will get this fully working, but right now, I'm tired of screwing around. I just want to use the printer. So we have all the kits ready to go. We posted a video the other day, so I think we did a pretty good job here. These are actually Creality OEM brackets that we're using for the S1 kit here. So I don't think it looks that out of place on this printer. If you do notice here, I have testing firmware on here. It says EZABL. So if I go to home this, it's not going to home correctly. Where's my SD card? There was a black SD card floating around here. Is it underneath? I don't know what I did with it. Because I was literally testing stuff last night. I think I've spent about 20 hours of work on this printer over the last, I don't know, when did we do it? 3 days? Yeah, it's been a lot. I've been working solely on getting this done because I want to just put this downstairs and use it and get on with my life. But I'll go ahead and update the firmware real quick before we get into this and just show you guys the improvements that I've made because we're not having to deal with the LCD. So these color LCDs, they look cool, but the thing is when Marlon does updates, they rarely break the code for this screen. The color ones are a whole different story. So I think this is the more safe bet. And I am going to keep the screen around so I can test new builds. Because the thing is, if I have this screen, I can hook it up to a different board and still test the firmware. So as new changes come out, I can test it without having to mess with the printer. Actually, someone I saw insulation blankets that go under the bed. I think I have some of that insulation roll that we sell in the garage already. Do you know what I'm talking about? Those silver rolls? I think they're over by the dog food on the rack. Is that it? Yes, that's it. Yeah, we're gonna. Thank you for mentioning that. We're gonna put this on the bed because it increases efficiency. So we're gonna do that too. Let's add this to the list of upgrades. We carry this stuff. We carry 15-foot and 30-foot rolls. This is made in the U.S. and this is high temp. It's actually pipe wrap insulation, but it goes up to like 130 or 140 C. I'd have to look at the product page, but way more headroom than we need. But it does decrease heat up times, and maybe what I should do is actually show you guys that. I want to do kind of a video showing that because it does help. It's not bullshit. But I am going to show this off, so let me go ahead and compile some firmware for this real quick, and I'm going to show you guys how's my audio and everything sound. I did a whole new setup with OBS. So are we clipping it all? Do we sound good? So anyways, so we can see here, I'm going to go ahead and you can see here I have to do. So I don't have this done yet. But this is not in the current release. This is actually my testing build. You can see here, I also have an option now that will be in the next release. So if your CR Touch is messed up, you can go and use the included ZN stop. Their stock firmware doesn't support this. Our firmware will. I also have an issue here an option here to disable the filament sensor. So I'm going through now and polishing up the firmware, adding in more stuff to make it easier for you guys to use, easier for you to customize. So Jim, I see Jim from the Edge of Tech is here. He must not have anything better to do on a Sunday night. So anyways, we are going to be doing the EZNeos on here. So I actually spent some time with Nathan last night, literally last night. And I found 2 spare pins on the board. They're already documented in our help center. So if you want to add our EZNeo lighting kit on, like we're going to do tonight, we've got 2 IO pins here on the programming header, which is right here on the board. So we're going to use those to drive the NeoPixels. The PWM pin header on the rear of the printer that's intended for the laser is actually shared with the hot end cooling fan. So it's not recommended to use that for the NeoPixels. So I've been all over this printer. I have, where is it? I've been quite busy. I literally printed out the STM32F103 CPU pinout, and I literally have been mapping out all of the pins and where they go. So, yay. But yeah, so we're going to be doing that. Let's go ahead and compile this, and then we're going to update the firmware. I'm going to show you guys how much quicker this is, even with the stock CR Touch on here. So I spent a lot of time trying to find out what the fastest I can go with this stock probe is before we start getting into either accuracy issues or probing failed issues. Also, while I'm compiling, my video may lag because it does just max my CPU out. So this will be a stream that I'm kind of all over the place because I'm excited about all this stuff. I'm excited to get this printer down there. And like I said, I did have the option to return it, but one, like I said, I think we need to keep it around for development purposes. And 2, I also kind of felt bad that, you know, I'm like using it and then returning it. And I don't want to be one of those people. So I'm just going to suck it up and stick it out, and we're going to upgrade it. While this is compiling, so just a recap on the upgrades, we're going to change the power supply, or change the layer fan. We're going to add the EZNeo lighting kit. We're going to add our solid bed mounts on, because who needs springs when you have an auto bed leveling probe, and those will work with the stock probe. What else? The EZFlex 2 system. I grabbed a smooth and a textured plate so I can have down there in my office, so I can have different options for surfaces I'm printing on. I know I grabbed a couple of other things. Oh, and the bed insulation. And I think that's it. Is that it? Am I forgetting anything? I have like a pile of parts over here. I have a lot of parts over here. Let's just get all the parts in one pile. If you want to film a TikTok while I'm streaming. I can't stream on TikTok. If you guys use TikTok, follow us on TikTok. Once we hit 1,000 followers, we can stream on there too. So yeah, I've got all sorts of goodies. I've got our magnet here. Like I said, the stock magnet seems okay, but I don't want to risk finding out, you know, 5 months from now that their magnet's not adequate and I'm gonna have to change it out now. I'm just gonna do it now. They're cheap. I think they're like 14 or 15 bucks on our site. But I got the smooth plate, and if you notice here, you're like, it's shiny. We remove the film before shipping because people are not, they don't pay attention. When we said to peel the film, but there we go. I got a smooth EZFlex. Look how nice it looks. And then I've got the textured EZFlex, and we have these in stock. So if you were waiting on the 235 size, we have them again. I've got our EZNeo kit here. Oh no. So I've got our EZNeo kit here. We're going to put that on to get some RGB action going. And then, like I said, the 5015 fan right here with the printed part. So if you guys can print this in ABS, I highly recommend you in ABS, at a very minimum PETG. If you do need this printed in ABS, send us a message. We are accepting print requests again. Just a rough estimate, because there was a lot of supports on here. This would probably be about $20 to $25 plus shipping to print in black ABS, and we do have other colors. But yeah, so I just want to mention that because not everybody can print ABS. This was just done on one of my random machines. This is our just standard print quality. So with that, let's go ahead and update the firmware to the stock configuration. So I'm going to go ahead and I put the firmware file from VS Code on my SD card. I'm going to turn it off, wait for it to de-energize. Kyle, we do have 165s on the way, about 2 weeks, hopefully. We're going to go ahead and update that firmware there. And the nice thing about the LCD kit is you do not need to open the printer up at all to install the upgrade. It's all external. So You can use the stock cable that came with the LCD. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and reset my EEPROM, and I'm going to show you guys how much quicker this is, because in the video with the LCD, I sped it up. Not intentionally sped it up, but I had a cut in when it was probing. So I'm going to go ahead and auto home here. This should all work correctly unless something decides to stop working. There it goes. Gotta get some maw. I have water. Water! In my little maw shaker cup. Oh no. Okay, so now here, to show you guys how quick, or quicker than stock the G29 is, and this actually does respond to G29 correctly, unlike all of their firmwares. I flashed the latest firmware, which is the 105C firmware, on the stream, and it still did not fix the issues with the printer. Everything's working perfectly. Like, this is working just like all of our other machines do with our firmware. So it's a hell of a lot better user experience. So how's everybody doing? How many of you guys watching, guys and girls, because there's probably like 1 or 2 girls watching. Let's be honest. I know my audience. It's mostly guys, and by mostly I mean like 99.999%, and I'm not even joking. But how many of you watching actually own this printer or are thinking about getting it? I'm just curious. So here's the thing. Physically, like I said, this is not a bad machine. It's just the bang for the buck is not that great. So yeah, and that's the thing. You've got an Ender 3 V2 with an Easy board. That's a good printer. I like the Ender 3 V2. I'm just curious, but I know Creality's going to sell them, so yeah. But yeah, so there we go. It's a lot faster. It's still not EZABL fast, but it's quicker than stock. So let's get into this. Let me reposition my microphone, and I'm gonna try to find a good angle so I'm not having to move the camera around a billion times here. And I'm probably gonna go in on the side here. All right. So what should we start with first? I think maybe we should start with the power supply. You guys wanna start with that? So I got my power supply here. And like I said, this is a B stock power supply. It has cosmetic damage. These do not, ones with stuff like this do not get sent out to customers. We use them internally, hence why the box says internal use only. You can see where UPS had their way with the box. So, but it works fine. Power supply, okay. I think I'm gonna do power supply, then we're gonna insulate the bed, and then kind of go from there. So I'm gonna flip this, or actually I'm not gonna flip this up yet, because we need to take out, I believe these 3 screws are what hold the power supply in. So I'm gonna unscrew those, and it looks like they're a 2.5. Are they 2.5? They're a 2.5. And I'm assuming those are the power supply because this is where the power supply is, and also the whole pattern is what they typically use for the Meanwell. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. I see someone asking about was it the D-Win screw in the EZboard is not possible with the pin layout? That's correct. There's actually because the 12864 uses a different layout of pins. That's what we designed the EZboard to use. The D-Win style that's on the Ender 3 V2 needs a pin and a certain thing. It's not to say that you couldn't adapt it. Like if we made an adapter board, we could do that, but it's not something that I've had high demands for. I guess I could make up like a article to be like, here, using DuPont jumpers on how to do it, because we do have TX and RX pins on that board on the header. But we can chat about that another time. So I'm gonna put the screws over here. Got my little magnetic screw bin. And I've already removed the bottom cover off of the printer. It's actually pretty easy to. I'll just show that. I'm assuming if you guys are modifying your printers, you can kind of figure out how to take things apart, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 screws on this bottom panel, okay? So this is already taken off, and then when you take it off, this fan unplugs from the board. So don't yank this cover off, or you could damage the plug or the header on the board. So, but I had it taken apart, and I figured we're going to need to go in here anyways. So, oh, there we go. Power supply came right out. I will say the spool holder is quite nice for working on the printer because it just rests on it, and it puts it in a good position for working on it. So let's go ahead and just do this. And we are going to open this up because I want to check the actual grounding. So they did run a dedicated ground wire to all the pins, or to the ground pin. So even if the power supply itself has a bad ground, it's not that big of a deal because it is going to get it through the chassis. And you can see they actually ground off the coating, so this will actually get ground. But on the power supply here, to switch it out, it's pretty simple. They have crimps on here from the factory. So we've got the V plus and the V minus. That's your 24 volt. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew those. These are going to go back to the V plus and V minus on the new one. And then the yellow here is our ground. Is our earth ground. The blue wire with the black heat shrink on it, that's our neutral. And then the like reddish brown wire with the red heat shrink is our line. So just like that, the power supply's out. Now you can see here, this power supply, this is the Meanwell. Flip the voltage switch. I'm in the US, so I'm going to use 115. If you're in Canada or US, 115 is what you use. And we're just going to go ahead and install the power supply just in the reverse order. So it's a direct swap out. I like to loosen up the terminals I'm going to use. And we're just going to reconnect it. So remember, the red wire is line, black is neutral, or the red heat shrink wire, and black heat shrink. So there we go. Come on, get on their terminal. There we go. Go ahead and tighten those up. And go ahead and get the ground in here. Very important. And then the red wire from the board goes to V plus. And the black wire goes to V minus. There we go. So now I'm not going to be able to show all of this because it's going to be kind of a pain, but I'm going to reach around the front of the printer, kind of put this on the side and hold the power supply in place and put those 3 screws in that I took out. They should thread right into the Meanwell. It looks like the same exact bolt hole pattern because when these companies make knockoffs of the Meanwells, they typically copy the layout too, so it's a direct replacement. And it looks like that's the case, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in. Line it up. That one's in. Once you get one in, it's pretty easy to get the rest. And the bed is blocking the other 2. But I have one in, and that should be sufficient to hold it in place so I can screw the rest in. Let's find out if I aligned it correctly down below. Oh, there we go. That one went in. This one. Oh, I think the power supply is sagging a little bit. Let's see if I tighten these up, if it'll bring it up. Let me press on it. Yeah, see? Press on it. And now it should make contact. There we go. All right, so the bolt holes are a 1-to-1 match. All right, so now we got the Meanwell in. I'm going to go ahead and just make sure power's up. Krista, can you give me that power cable? Thank you. Let's see. Go ahead and plug this in. And there we go. Power supply swapped out. Let's go ahead and whenever I change a power supply out, I go ahead and I'll do a preheat to ABS temperatures, and that'll put a lot of load. And we're going to make sure that this power supply is working. Like I said, it was one that got banged up in shipping, but it looks fine. While we're waiting for that to heat, let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside this Creality brand power supply. Oh no, I'm going to void the warranty. Where's the screw? Screw hole is probably like right here. Yeah, it is. Now, one thing I did notice is the stock power supply actually has a slightly larger fan than the Meanwell, and I'm assuming they did this so they could run a quieter fan. So I will say one of the things I do like about this machine, I actually didn't make a pro and cons list, is that it is quiet out of the box. Probably the quietest printer I've dealt with. Yeah, this is pretty generic. This is definitely not a Meanwell. There's no name brand. These are not name brand caps. These are very generic. This looks like the Changlang style ones that I've seen. I don't have one on hand, but yeah, this is not a Meanwell, because normally Meanwells, they would have on the transformer here, they would have a Meanwell logo. You'd have Meanwell on the power supply or on the PCB. You can tell like this is pretty bare on the inside, obviously to keep costs down. So yeah, I don't like running these generic PSUs, especially in my home, you know, in my print farm, because they're more likely to have problems down the road. It's not to say it doesn't work. It's just a personal preference of mine. I'd rather not have a unbranded power supply. You can see here, they didn't even peel off all the plastic insulation that covers these when they were like machining it and bending it. So, but we'll put this back together and I'll throw this in my random parts bin. Yeah, I don't think it's a Changlang. I'm gonna peel this label off and see if there's another one under it. I don't think there is, but we'll check it. I like being thorough. What? What? Oh, you guys are talking on Discord? Little peanut gallery over there in the back end?
Pretty much.
Of course. All right, let's see. So there's a stock label, CMS 350-24. Wow. Let's see, is there going to be a label under this label? I don't think there is. No, there's nothing. So yeah, they're just getting these white labeled from somewhere. Just go and leave that there. Let's check the ground on the PSU itself. Yes, they grounded the printer frame, but let's see if the power supply itself is grounded. Let me go ahead and tighten the screw terminal up so it makes good contact. So when I'm probing on it, got about 0.16 ohms of resistance, which is good. It's a lot better than some of the ones we've seen. I'm just checking here, 0.12, 0.13. So I am pressing hard to get through any coating that might be on here. So this one on mine is actually properly grounded. Here's the interesting thing. We might be able to determine the manufacturer. Do you guys see this? E522644. That's the registration number, I believe, on this. Isn't that the UL sign, or is that a different one? I'm trying to remember how that works. That's not UL. What's the word I'm looking for? It's one of the certification things. So I could actually look this up and determine who makes this. But we're going to save that for later. So It is heating just fine with the Meanwell. You can see how quick that was to swap out. We had multimeters, but nobody bought them. This is the second time we tried to sell multimeters, so they're discontinued. Just go to Amazon or your local hardware store and buy them. We've tried. We had really nice cheap ones, but nobody was buying them, even at like $10. It took us like 7 months to sell through 15 of them. So yeah, we stopped carrying them. I think that's UL from the EU. You might be right. I know that number or that logo, certification logo, has popped up before. I just can't remember what organization it is. Yeah, because like for example, like this is a power adapter. You can see here, this is actually from a Netgear router. You can see this has a UL logo and a certification on here. And I had another power adapter. It was the one we use for our EZABLs that has a bunch of certification stamps on it too. So
TikTok followers now.
yeah, I was just seeing if there was any other power supplies I have laying around with that RU certification. So, all right. Well, we know the power supply works. Our bed's at 100 already. That's definitely at 100. I think the next thing we're gonna do is, because you see this, I need to go over the V-slot wheels on here. So we're gonna do the insulation on the bed. I wanted to do a comparison of before and after, but now I gotta let it cool down. I know. Do we wait for this to cool back down to room temperature, which could be a while? Or do we just keep moving forward? I guess, like, you know what? I have an Ender 3 Pro here with no insulation. I'll just do an actual proper video showing the heat up time difference. How does that sound? But, you know, take my word for it. Insulating the bed makes a big difference. Derek, is this one of those magnets it's weaker at 60C? It seems like it's a better quality magnet than what comes on the other printers. I'm still going to change it out just because I don't want to risk having issues down the road if they are using a cheaper magnet and not the same kind that we use where they're the high temp compatible. But it's stronger. So like I took this plate and put on the Ender 3 Pro that I use for testing. And that one, since I don't print on it, I just have the stock crappy magnet on there. And this is stronger than the other one. This doesn't feel as strong as ours, but I don't really have the equipment to properly gauge that. My whole thing is I'd rather just replace it with ours because I know ours work and I know ours last. And I'd rather not have to deal with it later. I'm already working on it now. So even if you do not have our EZABL, since this does have a auto bed level probe on it, we are going to replace the springs with our solid bed mounts, and this printer will actually use the 4 rounds because it does have its own strain relief. So if you guys notice, if you order bed mounts from us in the last like 7 or 8 months, we actually made it so it includes the 4 rounds and the strain relief. So basically, if your printer can use the strain relief, you have it, and if it can't, you also have a round here. And these are not just ABS printed. You can see here, they actually have aluminum inserts in it. And basically the ABS part is just to make it look nicer. So the bed's actually sitting on the aluminum. We actually use an arbor press to press these into the printed parts. So I'm going to go ahead and, that's still hot, but that's okay. We're going to use my hoodie as an insulating device. What? It's not that hot. It's quite warm. But I'm going to just push down on this a little bit and spin these off. I'm also going to go into my drawer of random parts, and I'm just going to put just regular, I think these are M4 screws they use on here, with some Loctite if I have it. If I don't have Loctite, I'll just put a little drop of some super glue gel because I don't want these moving ever. We have an auto bed leveling probe on here. We do not need to deal with springs. All right. We also can get rid of these giant knobs. These will no longer be needed. All right. Still quite warm. I shouldn't have heated it to 100, but I wanted to test. All right, springs, bye-bye. Oh, it is very warm. Oh, man. Oh. Hot zone, do not touch. Ah! It's actually quite warm. All right. Oh, look at this is interesting. Do you guys spy what I spy? Do you guys see the little do you guys see the little ground wire on the bed? I like this. I will never complain about overkill on grounding your printer. So I'm gonna move this over to the side and let that cool down for a sec, and I'm gonna adjust the V-slot wheels on here because you can see this carriage is a little wobbly. I'm gonna grab the little wrench that came with it, and this side has the V-slot wheel, so I'm gonna reach under here, and I can tell these are super loose, so I'm just gonna adjust the eccentric nut. That one's loose now. I'm gonna come back. Look at that. Look how stable that is now. So make sure you adjust your V-slot wheels. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna actually go over all of them once we get towards the end. And actually, one thing I'm going to do since I have the bed off is let's get the EZNeo installed while we're waiting for the bed to cool down. And it does have open V-slot on the rear here. So we are going to be able to use the included cable clips to route the EZNeo. So the EZNeos have a 3-pin cable in them to power them. And we're going to feed that cable down through the extrusion channel here and then come out towards the bottom. And I'm going to feed it in right here where the stepper motor connection is. I should be able to fit the 3-pin JST through here. So let's go ahead and get the EZNeos installed. And by the time I'm done with that, the bed should be nice and cool. So inside the EZNeo package here, we have the signal cable, signal and power, okay? We have the extrusion covers here. There's a little Allen key here along with T-nuts and screws. And then we have the strip itself, okay? Box, someone warn Sandbox. Can we keep things civil? Don't make me turn off my live chat. Give him a warning and mute him for the rest of the stream. He's on Discord. Come on, people. This is why we can't have nice things. All right, so to mount the EZNeo, we're going to put the little screws through here. I'm going to put the T-nut on here. And we're just going to spin it out a little bit. Do not spin it on all the way. And we're going to do this for the other 2 holes. And this is a rigid PCB. This is not like those cheap strips you get on Amazon or Adafruit. This is actually a rigid PCB that these are mounted on. So you can bolt it right up to the 2020 extrusion. It's a very nice fitment. So we're going to go ahead and put the other screw in. T-nut, and then we got one more, and then we're going to attach this to the extrusion up in the top of the rail. So we're going to put this up here. I believe this should clear the filament holder. But yeah, I figured since I'm building more printers, I want to get these on all my machines. I have them on my Ender 6, and it makes, especially if you do night time lapses, and you don't want to have the lights in the room on, it's fantastic. So we got all these. Now, what I like to do, because these are going to have to go in the extrusion, I always rotate them into position, okay? So just like this, so they go right up in. Now, I'm going to be routing the cable on this side of the printer, so I want to make sure the connector is on this side. And we're just going to take this, we're going to put it up into the extrusion, and it does clear the filament holder, no problem. I'm just going to make sure it's centered here. And I'm looking at the end lights and just estimating it. And then we're going to take the screw, put it up in, and turn it real fast. And then just like that, it's attached. We're going to do the other 2 screws. Nice and clean. Almost looks like it's OEM. There we go. Just snug these up. And the nice thing about these two, we got the PCB here to spread the heat out from the lights, so these should last a long time. And I might be biased, but I feel like the pixels we're using on these are a lot brighter than other stuff I've used. I bought a lot of like NeoPixel rolls and stuff from other vendors over the years for like IoT projects, and these are really freaking bright. But the nice thing is because they're on the PCB and now we're on the aluminum extrusion, heat is not going to be an issue with these, which means they'll last a long time. So I've got my cable hiders here. Will I use the linear power converter for the... Yes, I will. Okay, we are going to... Blue, if you keep being a problem, I'm going to ban you from our Discord server, I swear to God. Hang on, I'm filtering them out on the live stream chat on Restream. Did it remove it? Huh?
What?
I'm trying to see. Obviously, it's on the video replay. That's the only problem with having live chat is you get an idiot in the chat.
I've removed
It's on there.
Discord.
We've got 94 people watching across all platforms right now. We've got 90 on YouTube, 1 on Twitch, 2 on Facebook, and 1 in the actual Creality group. So, yeah. So, but we will be using the step down adapter we have because this board does not have a NeoPixel header, but not a problem. So this is a 1 meter cable. I did respond to a comment on our site. If you guys need a longer cable, if you are competent with your soldering, you know, this is just me as Tim, the DIY person, telling you, not as, hey, we're going to warranty this if you screw it up. If you can solder and heat shrink and you have wire, this can be cut and spliced. This is, I believe it's 22. Yeah, 22 gauge wire. You can extend this. Or what I would also recommend is if you go online, you can find 3-pin JST extension wires and extend them. If you're looking for them, you'll mostly find them as sold as 2S LiPo pack extensions. So, but yeah, so let's go ahead and route this. I'm going to go up in this channel here. I'm going to have to slip this behind the X gantry here, which shouldn't be a problem. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and plug this in up here. My big fingers. All right. And then I'm going to move the gantry down here. And we're going to put one of the extrusion covers in here. Now, on the Ender 6, these can be cut. So if you need to space these out a little bit, you can also find printable covers like this. But these are actually really nice. These are injection molded. But like on the Ender 6, I actually cut these in half, so I spaced it out. But these are to cover this, so this looks real clean. I'm going to go ahead and take this. I'm going to put this in the rail here. And I'm going to push this up towards the top. And make sure all 3 wires are in the extrusion. Look at that. Look how nice that looks. This almost looks, like I said, it almost is going to look like it's factory. And now I'm going to go ahead and move this up. And we're going to put one at the bottom here. And then we're going to fish it into the control box. We'll move this up. There we go. We can see the other end. Go ahead and put this, and I'm going to have the end of this one towards the bottom of the extrusion here. So there will be a little bit of the wire visible, but not a big deal. So just like this. And this is what I mean by if you have a longer extrusion you're running this on, you can cut these and just leave gaps between here. If it really bothers you, go over to Thingiverse and just type in 2020 extrusion cover. There's quick print ones where you can literally print these type of covers that snap in. I don't care that much. You can see even Creality up here. They just have like a little piece here holding the filament sensor wire in. So Real DI wires run inside the extrusion? No. That's a pain because there's no hole in the bottom. All right, let's see. Is this little 3-pin going to fit through here? It does. It does. What is it hitting? Hang on. We're so close. We're so close. Come on, fish it in. Fish it in. What are we hitting? We're hitting something.
There's almost 100 people watching it right
Oh, no. Oh, there we go. All right, we're in. Okay. Plug the Z motor back in. We're going to put that down in there. It's coming out right by the power supply. Yeah, so on... I pulled a little too hard. I pulled the cover out. No! Snake that down there. That'll be our little secret. Why is this pulling out? I'm pulling too hard on it. All right, let's try that. Okay. That's out of the way. Now, actually, what I might do, I don't know if I can fit a zip tie through there. I cannot. I could, if I really wanted to, could just zip tie this right here and have it go down with the motor cable. But I also don't want it rubbing on the side here. I think that'll be okay. I could figure out how to pretty it up later. Just want to get this installed. All right, so the bed now is cold, barely warm. So let's go. It's not warm. It's like maybe 2 degrees above ambient right now. All right. So here's how I do the insulation roll on these beds. So this printer actually has 0 insulation on it. The Ender 3 actually has like a little pad right here. They just have someone here insulating the thermistor from air. Let me grab a pair of scissors. And the hardest part is going to be cutting out around these, but just like I said, this is foam back high temp insulation. And usually what I'll do is I'll start at one end here. Kind of get a rough fitment and just kind of make a little indent here in the insulation. And then I will actually use this as like a template to cut the rest of them. So now for getting around the screws, I usually will just make a little slit. So I'll put this right here, kind of get an idea of where the screws are going to be on this piece. Do a little indent there, and then see roughly how far in I'm going to be going. And then we're just going to cut a little slit here, go halfway in. You see where I made the other indent here. And now we can slip this past the screws. Voila, magic. All right. Now, if your printer has been in use for a while, I would recommend wiping this down with like IPA, just in case there is any like dust or grime on here. You know, I might do it because who knows, I doubt Creality cleans these, but we just want to give the adhesive maximum opportunity to adhere. So I'm just going to take some IPA. Super chat. Someone said, Carl says, I've got a couple of KP3S machines with a 407 chip. I can't get Marlin to flash on these two. I didn't know they were switching out the processors, but everybody's doing that these days over in China, so I'm not surprised. It might just be as simple as changing the board build options, but I was not aware that they changed the processor. So on our website, we have a link for the unified firmware to like report like bugs. Go ahead and send me details with the pictures of the board, and whatnot, and then I can at least try to make a build. But I will, if you're going to contact us and test and actually report it, I will expect you to test it since you have those boards. I do not have those new board versions. So, all right. What's interesting is, you see this? These two holes here, were there holes in the front here and I didn't see them? They were not. I wonder if they use this bed for like the for the CR6, because the CR6 had metal retaining clips. So anyways, all I'm going to do is do the same thing until we get to the end, and then just like I said, for stuff like this, we'll make little slits. And then I don't even actually bother cutting out stuff for the solid bed mounts here, because once I tighten them down, it just compresses everything anyways, and it's fine. So if you want to cut them out and be fancy like that, you can. But we're just going to do the rest here. We're just going to line up the one edge. Come here. Go ahead and snip this. And we're going to keep covering this. So, if you have an enclosed printer where obviously you want the heat to be in the enclosure, I would not recommend doing this, because you kind of do want the bed to heat up the enclosure. But especially if you're printing in open air, this is going to make it a lot more efficient, because the heat's not now leaving the bottom and the top side of the bed. It's only going to be leaving the top side. So, and it should make it so it heats up a lot quicker. I could probably determine how long it took to get to 100C if I look at the video when I did the test heat after swapping the PSU. But yep, you just work until the whole bed is covered, and that's it. So this stuff really helped my my AlphaWise U10, because that was a 410 by 410 bed, and like I highly recommend doing this, especially on the bigger beds. Now, on printers that have solder terminals here, so you can see here, this is just terminated directly, it looks like, to the it looks like the bed's got a little tab that juts out. Some of the printers have little solder pads here. If you have one of these boards that has solder pads, do not put the insulation over the solder pads, because this is a foil back insulation. This is conductive, so just be aware of that. But I've been using this stuff on my printers for years. It's why we started carrying it. I actually was able to get a hold of a official reseller here in the US. So this one's going to be a little more work, because we've got these screws here. And we also are going to have to trim this in general. So screw hole, or screw slit, I should say. And then I'm going to have to figure out roughly how far we're going to have to cut in on this, or this little piece here. All right. Let's see if I can cut a straight line. So let's just go across here. And I'm trying not to get my grubby little hands all over the adhesive on the back of the insulation. I'm just very lightly touching it with my fingertips just to hold it while I'm cutting it. Huh? All right, so I'm going to cut the little slits for the screws. Now we're going to go ahead and put this on there. All right. I didn't do too bad. It's relatively straight. All right. So there we go. This is all insulated now. And I'm going to go ahead and put this back on, but instead of putting the springs on, we're going to go ahead and put these solid bed mounts on. So since this has its own strain relief built in, I'm not going to use the strain relief that we include. I'm just going to use the 4 rounds. So there we go. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. And instead of using these, this is just a personal preference, I'm going to put just standard nuts on here because we don't need the leveling knobs. What?
What is your opinion on solid bed mounts versus the silicone ones?
I have not used the silicone ones because these work. I've been using solid bed mounts for years now. I would say anything's better than the springs. And the thing is, look at the wrench and the nut stuck in the bed. If you have an ABL probe, you can get rid of your springs. Like that's a big thing. I did not twist the wire here, so that's another thing when you're taking the bed on and off on this one especially. Make sure the wire doesn't get twisted. And I'm gonna come down here, and we're just gonna put nuts on the bottom of the end, on the bottom here, because we will not need to adjust this bed anymore. Am I going to be able? I'm probably gonna have to poke through here. Well, we were gonna replace this anyways, so let's see. Is this gonna come off cleanly, or is it gonna be a pain in the dick? Oh, okay. Well, at least they use halfway decent adhesive on here. That's not leaving residue.
That's really something to watch.
And like I said, their stock magnet seems to be better than what comes with the Ender 3 and the 3 Pro that have the flex surface. But like I said, I'm not taking chances to find out this just wears out after like 6 months. I know ours lasts a lot longer. So I'm just going to get this done and over with now. And then it gives me access to the screws here to tighten up onto the nuts. You know, now this machine is basically new, so I would expect that if you are watching this video 6 months from now and you've been using it for a bit, that your magnet's probably going to be harder to get off than mine was. You could cut the insulation of their spacers if you want. I've never done that because once you tighten it down, it compresses it, and it's a moot point. But you can do it if you'd like. I don't. All right. Let's see. My random nut assortments. Heat inserts and nuts. Oh, there's 2 M4s. Oh no. Do I not have 4 M4s? I do have one of our screw assortments. Somewhere over here. Okay, well, I've got 2. Here we go. And here we go, M4s. I'm just, because it bothers me, these are black. I'm just going to use all these. I want them all to match. So there we go, 4 M4s. And I'm just going to start these by hand on the bottoms of each of the screws. Yep, they're M4s. And then I'm going to hold them with the pliers and tighten these down. And this bed's going to be solid. What does the LED cube change? It changes the pattern on the cube right here. Because we're fancy like that. All right. Now, I don't have my Loctite handy. I typically do like to put Loctite on these. Or if I don't have Loctite, I'll use some super glue, but I'm probably just going to do that later. I want to get on with the stream. You just got denied by the bot. Yeah. All right. Well, I got my Mastercraft pliers. Who here likes Menards?
You.
Who likes Menards? Menards! You save big money. All right.
So soft.
His ears are soft. All right. That's tightened. Anybody chiming in about Menards?
No.
No?
Oh, Travis says he practically lives there on the weekend.
I love Menards. All right. Oh, that thing's solid.
No Menards in Vegas.
No, there are no Menards in Vegas. I think it's a
It's
Midwest thing. It's a Midwest thing. I know Tyler's still watching. He's probably crying right now because he misses Menards. He's in Alaska. He hasn't had access to Menards. And they're 11% back rebates.
Up there that he doesn't use. Sounds like
Oh,
you.
that's Mark. He's in Wisconsin. He's in the land of cheese. All right. Look at that. She's solid. Yeah, she's not wishy-washy anymore. She's not going anywhere. Well, I like solid mounts in the bed. All right. So now I'm going to clean the build plate. I'm going to put my magnet on here. So I'm just taking some IPA, making sure all the previous adhesive is off. Now, if you guys do ever need to get access to your screws, there's no problem with taking a little X-Acto knife and cutting out a little circle where the screw head is. You're not going to affect the usage of the magnet, having like a little circle cut out. But that's why I like to do this stuff here while I have the magnet off, because then I can just get it done. I'm going to take a look. Let's take a look here, because this is the one thing I did not look at. Let's see how this bed wire termination is inside this little cover here. You think it's going to be an abomination, or that's going to be decent? Why are you so pessimistic, Krista?
I'm not.
She says it's going to be an abomination. I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be soldered on here. I hope it's not like a clamp type. I hope it's soldered. It is soldered. Okay, well that's good. All right, we're going to put that back on. The more you know. The solder is on the bottom. It's solder too, not solder, like some of you people call it. You know who you are. Looks like a little bit of residue here. More alcohol.
This is most of your hands.
My hand, should I be a hand model?
No.
It could be a hand model.
No.
Hey, Discord thinks my hands are too sexy for Discord because they censored pictures with my hands in it. And I wasn't even soliciting hand pics, okay? Oh, you brought the Snackies cup? I'm surprised he didn't perk up when we said Snackies.
He's out.
Snackies?
No, he's useless.
All right, well, let's put the new magnet on. And this is a 235 bed, so we have the 235 pre-cut magnet from us. Look at that. Nice fancy new magnet. Go ahead and peel this off here. Now, I like to put it on a diagonal, so I'll start in a corner and I'll peel back the adhesive. And if you guys watched the Ender 6 installation video, I did the same thing. So I usually peel it back about this far, kind of crease it over, and then I line it up. And just that little crease and the rigidity of the magnet usually gives enough to actually not stick down. So I'll line up the front corners like this, kind of pinch it so it's flush, and then I'll carefully go back here and get the back corner down and go at a diagonal here. Okay, and then we're going to lift this up. See the little flap here? We're going to pull it and then push it down and then just repeat. Pull it. Okay, push it down. Go on a diagonal pattern. And then once you get to the end here, just yeet it and push it down. There we go. Look at that. Perfectly applied. And now I've got my EZFlex here. This is the textured. If you guys have not seen them like in person, I guess you could say. So here's the textured. Here's the smooth. I actually grabbed one of each. I can actually feel my magnet through the other plate. It's not that strong, but I can feel it through the other plate. Like, yeah, our magnets are. Oh, I almost got my finger caught. I literally said in the Anderson video, be careful not to get your finger caught between the plate and the magnet. Now let's see how their plate feels on here. Their plate feels okay. I feel like this does okay. Now that I've had both, I have their stock one. Ours is slightly stronger. It's not like, oh my god, it's so much stronger. It's slightly stronger than their stock one. But again, like, I just like using all of our stuff because I know these will work correctly. So anyways, let's put this on here. Make sure not to snap my finger in it. There we go. Look at that. Now I have an S1 Pro because, you know, the difference between the Pro and the regular one is the Pro comes with a plate like this with a textured finish. Man, I just added $150 of value to this already overpriced printer.
That's insane.
Ugh. All right, what else? What else? Oh, we got to wire up the NeoPixels. I think that's where we're at. NeoPixels? Are we running through this that quick? We did the power supply. I did not do the fan yet. But I kind of want to do the NeoPixels. Oh no, this is such a mess over here and I need to solder. Hang on. I need to clean. We have 105 people watching. This is 105 over here. That's from all platforms. Alright, so let me turn my other camera on and we're going to solder up the EZNeo adapter because this printer does not have a dedicated 5-volt output. It does have a 5-volt regular on the board, but I do not like powering them from boards unless they specifically specify that they can handle the extra load from a NeoPixel setup. So to give you an idea, our EZNeos take about 1 amp at full brightness, meaning white. So that's the highest power draw because all 3 diodes are lit up. So it's not a ton of power, but it's still enough where it could overdraw certain boards. So let me flip my thing here. And we're going to go ahead and assemble the adapter. There are directions on here, or on the website already for this. And basically we have our power input here, and we have our power output here. There's a little side here. And what we're going to do is take 2 of them. I'm going to use the red and the blue, or the red and the... I can't talk. Use the red and the black for the power input ones. Peel these off. And then I'm going to put these into the input terminal here. So we got black and red. I'll put that into the black. Put this into the red. And then there's our power in. So these will go to the power supply. And now all I need to do is attach the two wires to the output. This will go to the actual EZNeos. So what color should I use? I want to make sure. I'm going to use the brown. That's the closest to the black. And I'm going to use the orange for the red. So we want to cut off. And I don't need to make this super long on this install. I'm gonna keep these because these are gonna go into the 3-pin JST. I'll line these up.
Someone said you might as well build a boron.
I might as well build a Voron. No, I don't got that much time. Where are my side cutters? Oh, you steal my side cutters. Uh-huh. I like this shirt, but it's actually quite warm in here. All right, so we're gonna solder this up real quick. It's freezing in here?
It's freezing.
Isn't that freezing here? What? It's 65. I guess I'm just too hot. Too hot. Hot, hot, hot. Only Tim's, yeah. Oh, you know what? I do have extra. You know what? I'm gonna do red and black. I have a whole bin of these damn things. Oh. I need to find the male to females. I need to find tons of female to females. These all male to males or female to females. Oh no. I mean, it doesn't really matter the color, but oh, hang on, here we go. Look at that. Just happen to have them here. There we go. So fine, they're gonna match. I mean, the only benefit of using a different color is that it's kind of hard to mess up which is the input side and which is the output side. So hopefully I don't mess it up. I'm not gonna jinx myself by being like, oh yeah, I'll be fine. I won't mess it up. I could label it, but this is just going from 24 to 12. That's all this is. All right. Yes, I'm using my teeth as strip wire. Sue me. And if my dentist is watching, I'm sorry.
Oh, Tim.
Tim gets so mad at me. My dentist's name is Tim. He gets so mad at me when I strip wires with my teeth. There are too many Tims. It's like too many cooks. Too many Tims. Oh, I need to get my heat shrink. Where the hell is my heat shrink container? Oh, hang on. It's right here. I forgot to slide it back into the organizer. Let's see. There we go. I think that'll do. Got a little halvesy here. I'm going to remember. So yeah, if you have, we are working on our own brand of preset step down. These are just like off the shelf ones I was able to get. So it's not the easiest, but this is the only wires you have to like, you know, splice in. Is just the output side because we're gonna go to 3-pin JSTs. But hopefully we'll have our own soon. That will simplify this, just like a generic. Not generic, but like our own brand of a 5-volt step down. Oh, I forgot I was messing around with melting stuff with my iron because I do that. So let me redo my tip here. My tip is a little dirty. All right. Oh, there we go. Freshly tinned tip. All right. Gonna hit this with the saw real quick. There we go. There's our negative line. There's our positive line. But I do really like these because you can get cheaper step downs, but a lot of them you have to like adjust the output. These are just, no matter what you feed them, whether it's 12 or 24 volts, it's always coming out 5 volts, which is nice. So Because I didn't want to have people having to like probe things out and like measure the voltage, and did they set it to 5 volts or did they leave it at the default, which is, you know, going to be just like a volt or two under what you're putting into it. So there we go. I'm going to slide my heat shrink over. We're going to shrink these with my little hot air station. And then we can wire up the EZNeo. So this is the hardest part if you have a DIY or a board that doesn't have a dedicated EZNeo header. This is the hardest part, is just wiring up a step down to go from the 12 to 24 volt to the 5 volt. So, but it's just one splice. What's up? You're talking to the dog. He needs to go outside. You have a potty break? Can you give me a spotted cow when you come back, please? I love you. Yeah. I mean, it's late enough. I can drink and not be judged, and I don't care. All right. So, there we go. So, this side here, okay, that we cut off, this is the 5 volt output, and this is our input. So, power supply, NeoPixels, and now we have a separate 1.5 amp output. I think it's 1.5, yeah, 1.5 amp output, step down to drive the NeoPixels, so we're not pulling power from the board. And I do need to grab a male, one of the male to female, so we include a whole strip of these, and you can just peel them off. And this one will be used for the signal cable. So I'm going to flip this up now. And you can see here, we've got our EZNeo power here. Now, I could slip it underneath with the Creality bracket. I mean, let's just make it look all pretty. So, because I'm doing this, and this is going to be for my personal printer, you know, my personal printer for my personal office downstairs. I don't know. I do more fun stuff in my basement office. But I just like to do this. Just slip these under here. Slip the little male, or the little male ends in. Slide them under here. If you want to be anal about it and put crimp ends on, you can, but this works just fine. So positive, positive, negative, negative, and I've got that matching here. So you can see the red to red, black to black. Let's see if I can slip this under here. I can. All right. Let's go ahead and feed our power wires up for the step down. So basically, for these strips to work, all you need is 5 volt and you need a signal pin. And then you tell the firmware what pin you put it on. There we go. All right. So now here's my NeoPixel header. So you can see here we've got the red, white, and black. The red here goes into the red, black goes into the black. But you guys didn't know you could do this with DuPonts. They fit perfectly into the JST female plugs because they're the same pin pitch. They're 2.54. And then we need the signal. This is going to go to our board, so I'm going to put the white in here. And one thing I am going to do, because I like doing this since this is going to be an installation where I'm not messing with it, I'm going to put a piece of heat shrink over this to just give it a little nicer look, and then that'll prevent them from ever coming out. You know, you got to remember, we do a lot of retrofitting with these printers, so there's a lot of workarounds and stuff, and this is one of them. So find a piece of heat shrink that fits that. Oh, just barely. What'd you do? You sure? Oh, you grabbed your wine. Did you grab my burr?
It's over there.
Oh, so I didn't even see you, sneaky ninja.
It's been there.
Oh, well. All right, we got to have a beer break here. I love me some Spotted Cow. I'm a basic Illinois bitch. All right. So this is just little stuff I like to do to just wrap up installs. So like if I do a printer build for somebody, I do take my time, and I do little stuff like this, little touches. And typically I do it on my machines. Depends on if I'm like under crunch time or whatever. But just little stuff to give it a nicer appearance. You know, it's not necessary, but, you know, I got heat shrink on hand. I got all these fun things. Might as well make it a little nice. So you just put those in there. So I got to make double check. So red to red, white to white, black to black. Put those in here. I'm going to go ahead and hit this with my heat gun. So I see Neri is in the chat asking, is this a plate or like a flexi magnet? It's actually a plate this time. I mean, for the price, it damn well better be. Just so you know, since you're just joining us, the Meanwell does not come with this printer. I put this in. Because apparently, we're too cheap to put a Meanwell on a $450 machine. Doesn't that look nice? What do you guys think? Do you think that was worth the extra, like, minute to heat shrink that? Does that look nicer? What do you guys think? So, I'm in Indiana. I said I'm a basic Illinois bitch because Illinois people love to go be touristy up in Wisconsin. And I was one of them for a while. But now I'm in Indiana. I love Indiana. I will never go back to Illinois to live there anyways. So, all right, so I've got all these extra wires here for the NeoPixels. I'm going to bundle these up, and then this needs to connect to an I/O pin on the board. Now, if you guys remember, I showed you guys I actually found 2 extra I/O pins, and this is what actually controls the light. So you provide 5-volt power, and then you need to give them a data pin, and we're going to tell the printer that we hooked this up to the specific pin, and I have these already documented in our help center. So this white wire, which is the signal wire, needs to go onto one of these pins because these are free I/O pins on this board. So if we look here, focus, you fuck. I'm channeling my inner EVE right now. Okay, so you may not be able to read them, but you can see here, this is the programming header, and these actually just go straight to I/O pins, which is what we want. So we got the VCC, which is 3.3, we got ground, and then in between there we got DIO and CLK, so the data in and out, and then the clock. So I'm going to use this on the DIO pin, and I'm going to look that up in our help center to see which one this is, but this will give me the data line for my NeoPixels. And that's all there is to it. So I'm going to go ahead and zip tie these wires out of the way so it looks nice. And just like that, we have power and data connected for our NeoPixels. The last thing we need to do to actually make them do something is update the firmware. So I'm going to try to route this through the existing stuff. And then I'm just going to zip tie these down here. There we go. That'll be out of the way. It's not going to hit anything. Look how pretty it is. All right. So that's almost, we're almost done. I'm going to go ahead and update the firmware now for the NeoPixel so I can show you what that looks like. I am done in the bottom of the printer here now. So I've got my power. I got my power for the NeoPixels. I got my data pin, and we use the... oh, what pin did we use? I can't read it. What pin did we use? We used the clock pin, the CLK pin. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my computer here, And we're going to look up what pin that is. I'm going to show you guys how to enter it into the firmware. All right. Let me close out all of my Pornhub tabs. And then it's a joke. It's called a joke.
No.
Chris is like, wait, what? And then, I was trying to control the viewers, but I guess I got my girlfriend instead.
Me
I'm just closing out just a lot of short girl porn, you know? It's my thing, apparently. Anyways, the EZNeos, we actually have a lot of boards listed here and documented. So this is the Creality V2451301 board. And I went on to the clock pin, the CLK pin, which is this one right here. So if I go down here, CLK is PA14. So let me remember the firmware I was using. So I'm going to tell it I have the EZNeo 220 by uncommenting this. And then I'm going to tell it I'm using PA14. Uncomment this. And now I'm going to go ahead and compile. So once this gets compiled, I will update it with the SD card, just like we did at the beginning of the stream. And then I'll have RGB lights on my printer. So we pre-set up all the back-end settings. So literally all you have to do is tell it what pin you plugged it into and tell it you're using the EZNeo strip, and everything's all pre-set up for you. So I try to make it as easy as possible so you're not having to read pages and pages and pages of Marlin documentation on how to actually get a NeoPixel working. Because we try to make it easy. Hence the name EZNeo. See what I did there? Oh my god, hang on. I'm trying to... I can't get it in frame. It's too big. I have this problem all the time. Don't you snort at me. Alright, so it went ahead and compiled. So I'm going to go ahead and... So if you guys notice here, you see I have two bin files. This is the one I compiled earlier. If we look here, this told me right here that the file it just compiled ends in 214431. So that's the one I want to make sure to copy to my SD card. So on the other screen here, you can't see it, but I copied this over. And we're going to go ahead and put it in. Let's go ahead and switch over back to the camera so I have the new firmware. Now, when this turns on, you will see the Neos boot up and do their little initialization. Krista, can you plug the printer in?
No.
Do it!
It's plugged in.
What? Is it though? Is it though? I will drink all your wine. Okay. Well, apparently it didn't see the firmware because it booted right up. SD. Inserted. Alright, let's try it again. Come on. There we go. So you guys notice how it booted right up? That's how I could tell it didn't take the firmware, because if it's taking the firmware, it'll take an extra sec to initialize. Oh, do you guys see the lights there? How they ran through the RGB cycle? So just like that, I've got RGB on my S1. Hey Google, turn on Tim's Office night mode. Oh yeah. So here, just to show you guys how bright these are, I'm going to go ahead and turn off. The camera has no fill light right now. This is just the NeoPixels lighting up the printer. They're freaking bright. You guys like that? Look at that. Beautiful. Everything is easy with me. Now I'll make you work for it, Kyle, okay? But yeah, they're plenty bright. And the cool thing is, when you start a print, it'll actually cycle through. Let me just load up a Benchy or something on here. Just to show you guys what it looks like. So it actually will change colors while you're going through the start of a print. Which is kind of neat. So I'm just going to slice up literally anything. I have the S1 bracket on here, so we'll start with that. Hang on. So scripts, that'll work. We just need something. So I'm going to put this on the SD card. This is like the only time I actually print off SD is when I'm testing a printer. So here, if I pop the card in, And I'll show you here. So if we go on here, we have a menu called Lights. Oh, you might not be able to see it. It's kind of blowing it out. There we go. But you can actually change the lights right from the LCD. And here's the thing. The color screens, unless they're using Marlin UI, which is very buggy on the Dock-I LCD that's comes with, you don't have these menus. So that's another thing why I prefer the 128. So I can turn them on and off. Okay. You can also do them with G-code as well, but there's light presets. So this is actually a slight blue-white. It's actually our company colors. You can see there, white. It actually changed to a white. We've got the presets here. So we got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Now, these are actually only running a half brightness right now. So the presets for Marlin, for some reason, are half brightness. So if you go back to the default, you can see how much brighter they are. I should add that to my notes to just make the presets 100% on. But anyways, let me go here, and I'm going to print from the SD card. And watch the lights as we preheat. So as it's, do you see it changing? Pixel by pixel? It's like a progress bar. Yeah, do you see them? A little bloop, bloop. Eventually, there. Yeah, it'll do it. It's like a little progress bar. So basically, at a glance, you can tell where your printer's at in the heating cycle by looking at that. Oh, that's a nice shot. Look at that. Although my lens is a little dirty. My dirty lens. My lens is a little bit dirty. We're getting some lens flare. But yeah, you can see. So it goes from like a blue to violet, and then a violet to a red, and then it changes to white, full brightness, when the print starts. And these work with Octoprint or with SD printing. So there you go. Everybody loves some RGB. I think that's all the upgrades aside from the layer fan. We can do a layer fan too. I was expecting those to take longer. Expecting all that to take longer. Have we been streaming for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Or wait, we started at 8:50.
Yeah, no, 150:33. Yeah. But you can see, like, watch the pixels. Watch the pixel.
But you zoom in. So you can't-
I am zooming in. My camera's like, I don't know what to focus on, man. But the bed's almost done heating. And it changes color. So yeah, it's cool. So like if you want to add a glance of where your printer's at in the heating cycle, there it is. Oh, it is it's telling me to put filament in because as you can see, I don't have filament in the sensor. It's heating the nozzle right now. So, but anyways, let's do the layer fan and we'll actually do a test print. But yeah, I love the pixels. Oh, look at it. It is actually still changing the colors, even doing the heat up. You're on camera. You're bigger than me right now on the screen.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
So cool. All right. Yeah, so I'm kind of pimping out my machine. And like it's very clean. Like, does this look OEM? I feel like this looks OEM. Anyways, let's go out in night mode here and then we'll go ahead and change the layer fan out.
Ugh.
I know. Insert filament and press. Yeah, we don't. We're gonna work on the layer fan now. So, huh? What's that?
You should make like a tune.
The startup tune?
Yeah. Darn.
Oh, Sandstorm.
Yeah.
Oh, when it boots?
Yeah.
No,
It'll be awesome.
this is not my drone. All right. So now I'm going. Now I have not put this on. I'm going into this blind. So this is a part that somebody else made. I printed it. It looks like we're gonna need 2 M3 screws to put the fan on here, and then 2 M3s here to attach this to the printer. So Let's see what we're getting ourselves into. Huh? My hair's messed up. Yeah, I just had a hat. I'm taking the hat off because I'm probably going to hit it on things. I just throw a bed MOSFET in there. That's not a terrible idea, but I don't have the printed part yet. I'm a little disappointed. Anyways. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it looks like I got to take the CR Touch off to get to the other screw. So we got to take this off. We're going to splice some wires. It looks like I got to take the CR Touch off to get to that screw. And then... Oh, we're just going to take it apart and figure it out. That's what I do. We need 2.5 mil to get this off. Come on. Come on. And like I said, we would be putting an EZABL on here if I had the mount done, but I don't. So, but I will get it done this weekend. Or not this weekend. Today's the last day of the weekend. I will get it done tomorrow. So, but I'm curious. Do you guys think I should just replace the CR Touch right away, or wait till it fails? Should I suffer through it? I really want to be able to probe faster. All right, so there's a screw here on the left. And one on the right. There are two here? Yeah, there's two. Now, where does this go? I think this goes to the back carriage. Let's go ahead and take this off and see. I wonder if there's a 2-pin plug. Now, do you think I'd be so lucky that they use the same pinout as ours and that they use a 2-pin JST? I doubt it. I doubt I'm going to get that lucky. But we're gonna check. Can't remember. I didn't really look that closely at it when I put it together. No, it's something else. It's a smaller one. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take, there we go. I'm going to unplug this. There's that fan. And then I'm going to splice in the new fan wire. So basically I'm going to disconnect, I'm going to use this existing wire from the stock fan, and we're going to splice it onto my new one here. So we're going to take this, we're going to reuse this end here. I'm going to go ahead and let's see how long we need to make it. Let's estimate here. So if this is going like this is going like that. I'm gonna need to like come around here. I think I ought to route this wire. Probably down here. No, I don't want it. I don't want to like underneath the duct. Let me see if I can slip it through between the duct and here, or if I'm gonna hit the stepper. No, I can actually do that. All right. It's always better to have too much wire, so I'm going to cut my cable off my fan right about here. I'm going to splice this into the existing fan connector. Okay, so I'm going to switch back over to my soldering station, which I thought we were done using, and I got to turn the got to turn my stuff back on. So we're going to solder it up. We're going to heat shrink it. I would not recommend. So we do include like quick connectors with our fans because of how this hot end mount is. I would not recommend doing that with this hot end mount just because it's so compact. All right, so we just need to attach red to red, black to black. I'm going to assume Creality. So do we think Creality followed the wiring standards that positive is red and black is negative? Or should I check with my multimeter? What does chat think? Should we have some faith in Corellia that they followed standards?
No. No.
Check. Standard fans should be good. Let's see. I'm curious to know. You're fine, I think. Oh my god, you guys know what I mean. Technically, the red wire is red and the black is black. Well, if you're not an insane person, red should be positive and black should be negative. That's the point I'm trying to make. I think I'm going to be okay. Yeah, worst case, I fry the fan. I've got like 500 of them. All right, let me find my heat shrink. Where did I put my heat shrink? Did I put it back under there? No, I didn't.
Are you with me?
Did you steal my heat shrink?
You literally handed them
She
to
stole
me.
my heat shrink.
You
You guys see
handed
that?
it to me. I
Dear
don't-
God, she's stealing my stuff. Women.
Men.
Men? I have a plumber's crack. Why are you looking at my ass?
Because you're literally.
Because she's objectifying me right now. I feel I am a person, not an object of your sexual desire. I expect to be treated as such. Man. Full sentence. All right, we're not checking. We're just gonna assume that they did something correct. I'm having faith in you, Corelli. So I'm. There we go. I probably should show you guys what I'm doing. I'm just doing the same thing I did with the EZNeo adapter. Honestly, if you guys don't know, you don't have to be an expert for soldering. But if you have a 3D printer and you do not own a soldering iron, go buy one. Go buy a cheap one, just like a $20 or $30 one, so you can at least do basic stuff like this. It will come in clutch, especially if you have like a project and your printer decides to take a crap, you need to repair something or replace something. It's a very good skill to have, and very good tools to have on hand. I'm shocked by the amount of people that have a 3D printer that don't own a multimeter, that don't own a soldering iron, and these are all basic things I've literally had since I was like 15 years old, even just cheap Radio Shack ones, because my dad taught me about electronics and stuff, and like those are like the core things: multimeter and soldering iron with some rosin core flux, or rosin core solder. Sorry. What?
So, Dan says it's time to talk with HR.
HR is my mother. They'll tell me to suck it up and deal with it. All right. See, just like that. Now we got a nice solid connection. So I'm going to go ahead and put the heat shrink over it. It smells awful. Probably getting cancer right now. All right. And we're almost done. The solder shrink wrap tubes, I do not like those because I've tried them, and if I'm like on the side of the road and I need to fix something wiring wise on my car, yes, it's better than nothing. But more times than not, they use really crappy solder and it doesn't flow correctly, and it's a poor connection. Like even if you can't afford, like if you said, hey Tim, what's a good, you know, decent iron that's not like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, I'd say the Ahako FX881D. I have one in the shop. I've used it heavily. But even if you can't afford a fancy iron or even $100 iron, go buy a cheap one and learn how to use it. It's something to have on hand. What? Why are you laughing at me?
Comment. I'm reading. I'm moderating.
Oh, it's the peanut gallery trying to be funny.
You said you're almost done, and then you go ahead and install another upgrade.
Well, I forgot how many upgrades, okay? I have ADHD, leave me alone. My Oh, that was you. I was like, what the hell is making like a tapping noise? Where's my screw assortment? I misplaced my screw assortment. I need M3s for this. I don't know what I did with them. They're down here. Also, if you need screw assortments, we carry them. They're in the store. And I think I'm gonna need the 25s, M3x25s. It's a little too long. All right. All right, so I'm gonna use the two M3x20s. We're gonna go right into the plastique. You teasing my dog?
No, I'm gonna give him some.
About the M3x. Wait. This. Oh. Oh. Okay. I was like, wait. I guess one of the M3x16s got into the M3x20. I was like, this looks like it should be long enough. I just checked it. Because of the wrong screw. Oh, yeah, there we go. I love threading. Like, ABS is such a nice material to thread things into. Alright. Gotta snug it up. We're getting there. Let's see how the hole lines up. The other one's a little off. Just a tiny bit. You can kind of see it. I don't know if you can. But is Josh being a pain? Oh, God. I'll eventually get it to go in.
Your followers are so funny.
There we go. Okay. Sometimes you just gotta play with it to get it in the hole. Going in a different angle sometimes. Alright. Now, one thing I will mention, because I've done this before, is if you like Hulk down screws, sometimes you can compress fan casings to the point where it throws it off and it doesn't spin. So just double check that things spin smoothly after you screw them into casings and such. So there we go. And then I'm just going to have two screws going through here into the side of the printer. So I'm going to make sure this cable gets routed around here. And then we'll plug this in, and then that's just set the height and put the BL touch, the CR touch. And as Joel said, he's like, it's like a BL touch, except they replaced the BL with CR. He's not wrong.
Touche.
He's not wrong. Let's see how far these screws go in the hot amount. So I think these are the M3x16s. I don't know. See, okay, they did not tap these that much. Am I out? Apparently I did a project that used all my M3x12s. All right, you guys ready to, you OCD people, you ready to have an aneurysm?
Yeah. Give me. Oh.
All right, let's find a screw that fits here, and we gotta find two of them. That might be the ticket. Let's see. I don't think. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. That's too long. My big bin of random screws throughout the years. I've been collecting screws for ages. Oh no. I could just go out to my shop and go get a new screw assortment, but that's like 150 feet away. And it looks like this might be the ticket here. I think this is a 12 millimeter. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let me move OBS over here so I can watch chat. This the screwdriver is bothering your soul.
Yes.
You know what? I'll tell you what. You can sort through them.
I will be more than glad to.
You can measure them with the calipers and sort through them. I'm sure at least 50% of the people watching have a drawer like this. So close. You can find one more. So close. I'm usually pretty good at eyeballing screw sizes. It might have been quicker to go get a new screw assortment. Oh, wait. Is this it? Oh, so close. How long is it going to take Tim to find a screw that fits? Oh, look at that. Got it. I dropped my screw. My cube is off. Oh, because night mode turned off. And it turned off the night mode items. I should really have a thing that's, you know, I got to update Node-RED to say that, hey, if the live stream is on, don't turn the cube off and don't turn the logo light off. Where's the hole? There's the hole. All right. So what we need to check. So if you see here, whoever designed this, they made it so you can actually adjust it up and down, okay, depending on where your nozzle is. So what I want to do is I want to set the height so it's just a little bit up from the nozzle. Let me go. Oh, I'm gonna have to take the hot end carriage off again anyways. Put these screws over here. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to show you guys what I mean by setting the height. Let me just take this out of manual focus mode, or autofocus, and go to manual. Okay, so you got the nozzle there. If I put it down, that's going to be really far down. So I want to move this up just a little bit. So that's as far up as I can go. I'm going to go down just a little bit, like right there. And now I'm going to tighten down those two screws on the right. Oh, yeah. How's that look?
Very good.
Zoop. And all I gotta do now is hook the new fan back up. And then, well, fan and then CR touch. Okay, so we have our new fan wire, and this has got to get plugged back into fan 2, which is right here. And we're just going to stash the extra wire up inside here. Like I said, it's better to have extra wire than to be too short. Primo's tired. Probably from playing with his friends all day. All right. Let's see our touch back on here. Oh, this is a pain. Get in the hole. Yes, I did insulate the bed because somebody made a comment, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Because I've been trying to do that to all of my machines now that we actually carry insulation. I used to only do it on my larger machines, but it has shown a positive improvement on even my smaller ones. So, and it's a relatively inexpensive upgrade. Takes a little bit to, you know, just a little bit of your time to put it on. All right, so I'm just going to make sure all these wires are tucked back up in here. And then there's the second fan wire. Let's go ahead and put this back on the carriage. Okay. I'm going to put the screws back on and we're going to test it. And we can do a little quick test print here with... Huh? What about Cali Cat? You want to do a Cali Cat? No, no, no. Do not fuck the Benchies. Cali Cat is good, but it's not better than Benchy. I don't think anything will replace our beloved.
So many boats in here.
I have so many boats. Boats and hoes. Boats and hoes. I gotta have me my boats and hoes.
Yeah, almost right.
Do I? Let him enjoy the show. I'm sure Josh will appreciate it. Or John, if I don't know if John Mack's watching, but John Mack would not complain if he saw my plumber's crack. He always hits on me in chat.
What?
You never noticed that?
No.
All right. Okay, let's see if we let the magic smoke out. Or no. We'll find out. See the RGB? Oh, yeah. Print a wiener. A wiener dog? That's a great idea. All right, let's see. We're going to go to temperature. Fan speed. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a lot of freaking air. Hell yeah. Huh?
Has a little pink light in it too.
Oh, that's the Sierra Touch.
Oh.
It's got a little pink. Okay. Well, I do have. Do you want to grab a roll of filament? Grab me one of the coax. Yeah, grab me the blue coax. Or the pink. Let me get the pink. Right here. Pink right here. Gotta use the pink up.
I would take it downstairs.
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna show it off. Ah, you guys want a teaser? You guys want a little teaser? I'm pimping my OnlyFans, okay?
No, you're not. That's me and you.
Just kidding. It is also something small and cylindrical. But, I just literally, right as I started the stream, the factory sent me this, and they're on their way. You guys notice what this is? You like that? Sometimes smaller is better. The micros are coming. All right. We're going to print the Cali Cat. Pre-order? We don't do pre-orders. I hate doing pre-orders. You know what? Screw it. We're doing Cali Dog because dogs are better than cats.
One who has 3 fucking cats.
I will not be getting more cats after these are gone.
Excuse me, you're getting 2 more coming in.
I know. You're a package deal.
You got my birds at least.
The birds that bite my fingers. No, do not grab the birds. They're sleeping.
You love Opal.
I do like Opal. But Stevie bites me.
Okay, well, Stevie's not going to be around.
All right. We are putting Cali Dog on the SD card, and we're going to do a quick print here. All right. I'm going to do a preheat. That looks okay. What are your guys' opinion? Do you think the 5015 looks better than the little blower diagonal fan? I like the 5015 setup better. I think it looks nicer. Obviously, this works a hell of a lot better. I didn't steal Prusa's idea. Prusa stole my ideas, and his comment farm keeps leaving comments on my YouTube channel promoting his products, and he even subscribes on my OnlyFans to get insider information. See how many people get that. All right. So I'm loading the filament. Go ahead and feed it in. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's what she said.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and purge out, like, I don't know. And do like 50 millimeters of filament. That's usually I do because I had blue in there. Move extruder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And once it purges, we're going to do a Cali dog. I am going to reset my EEPROM. I think I already did that, but just in case, because my Z offset might be different after I'm working on everything. So there we go, we're purging. Jonathan, you bought an S1. How much did you pay for it? Because I feel like at $450 is what I paid for it. I did not get a very good deal for my money. We did not go to Micro Center. We were gonna go. I was gonna use her to get the new customer deal for the Ender 3 Pro for $100. Because I think she might. I think she kind of wants a second printer of her own. Her little Ender 2 Pro's been doing work.
It's working right now.
It's printing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it might be done.
Oh no, it's printing. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna see if I can set my Z offset and everything just by using the EZNeo light. So, night mode. Oh, did you guys see that? You missed the preheat cycle, but you can see here it turned white. And I'm gonna turn this off. It turned white after the print started. One of our old employees used to think when we were talking about getting Raspberry Pis from Micro Center, because we used to buy them by the box when they had quantity, he thought we were going to get actual pie and couldn't figure out why we were buying like 50 pies.
Oops.
I'm dead serious.
Really? Aren't you cool with your babe?
How many of you guys watching have our EZNeos on their printer? I want to put them on the rest of mine, because especially when you're doing time lapses, if the lights are off in the room, it's plenty of light to see your print. We'd have to figure out where to put on your Ender. You have an Ender 2 Pro. I don't know where to put on there.
Put it on the side.
All right, so I'm gonna baby step and set my Z offset. Oh yeah, plenty of light here. All right, we're at like negative 2.5 right now. Yeah. Just check here. Go a little bit further down, get a little more squish. All right. I'm going to go ahead and store my offset. I accidentally hit change filament, but it asked me to confirm. All right. I'll go ahead and turn the fill light back on, but look at that. We got further than the stream. It's actually printing because it has firmware that someone who knows what they're doing wrote on here, aka me. I am going to get cocky. I could write firmware half in the bag better than Creality's software team can. Actually, if you remember, I was actually drunk when I started writing the firmware for this.
What?
Because I chugged all those beers and I started working on it. I might have put a little too much squish on there, but I'm gonna let it ride. It's just a tiny bit. But look it, it's actually printing with code from Simplify. I'm curious to see if this blower fan is going to trigger thermal runaway with the heater. That's a thing. How many of you guys have put on like a bigger blower fan and the heater can't keep up? It is, I will say this 5015 from us is louder than the stock fan, but it moves a ton more air.
It doesn't sound bad.
It's not bad at all.
It sounds like
I'm just making a statement. They're not silent, but you could always drop the speed down. So like I can go and do tune, temperature. I can drop it down to like, I don't know, let's do like 70%.
wow.
So actually 70% is pretty good. And that's still going to be more airflow, and it's airflow from both sides with this new mount. I did not PID tune. Wait, Anthony said he got a newer build date Ender 3 Pro with a PSU that looked like a non-Meanwell. I got a replacement from issues. This one had a Meanwell. So is Creality not shipping Meanwells on the Ender 3 Pros? Is that how they're able to sell Ender 3 Pros for like $100 at Micro Center? Because I was wondering, because I said it before, like even in quantity, we pay over $40 per Meanwell, and I think we sell them on our site for like 50 something. So I don't make much off the power supplies. We carry them just because it's something we recommend. I have terrible margins on them, but yeah, I was wondering, and if they're cheaping out, and putting in whatever the hell this came with it, that would make sense how they're able to hit a lower price point. Because I've opened up a 350 watt Meanwell, and a 350 watt Meanwell has a lot more components in it, and name brand components like the capacitors or Rubicons typically, that just make for a longer lasting power supply. Yes, this is a coax pillow. This is the magenta pink. We carry it on our site. It's actually a really cool color. So if you have something that needs this color, it's actually quite good. I will ask. I don't know if Tripod's in here. I do have his cell phone number. It's only 10:30, but we're gonna let this print. So the only thing I have left to do is I am going to switch this out and put our EZABL on here because I'm a whore for my own products. But the Zero Touch does seem to work. It's just how long is it going to work, and I don't feel like dealing with trying to get a warranty replacement from Creality. I'll just put the EZABL on here. But yeah. And I'm looking here, so I'm going to take the label off their stock cooling fan and see if this is ball bearings or if this is like a sleeve bearing. They might actually be a ball bearing, which would be good considering the printer is actually like expensive. I think it's a ball bearing. It looks like it's a ball bearing, the stock one. You guys tell me. I think that looks like a ball bearing in there. Does that look like a ball bearing? I can't tell. I think it is. But anyways, we're going to watch this little Cali dog print. I'm going to bump the print speed up a little bit. So I slice this at 60 millimeters a second. I'm going to bump this up to 150% feed rate. Well, I do firmware for the S1 Pro. I think the S1 Pro, now, if someone has an S1 Pro and wants to test it, I think, aside from, I think the only difference should be the thermistor number that's defined in the software, and then upping the max temp to accommodate that 300C hot end. It should be basically the same once you switch the LCD. I'll tell you right now, that S1 Pro has a touchscreen. There's no way in hell there's going to be fully featured firmware for that. So again, that's probably going to be one of those machines like the Ender 6 where we tell you, hey, if you want to use our software, our firmware on there, you're just going to have to swap the screen. But if someone has the S1 Pro, send us a bunch of pictures of the internals, send us pictures of the board, send us pictures of the LCD screen. If it's the same board that's in here, it should be as simple as swapping out the screen and then telling it that, hey, we have this different thermistor on the hot end because it's a high temp thermistor. But that's assuming they use the same board. I swear to God, if Creality puts a different board in the S1 Pro and they don't use the same board that's in this one, I'm going to go on a like long rant about them and their damn boards and make a new version for every other goddamn printer that comes out. Because I'm tired of. There's no reason they can't use the same board in like all of their machines. Is that a layer shift? I don't think so.
No, it's the feet.
Yeah, that's the feet. It's a doggy.
Speaking of dog, want to get a snack?
Hey, Remo, do you want a snacky? Does Remo want a snacky? We have the beloved snacky jar. So I thought, because I still got to do that laser engraver, I thought about engraving a little German Shepherd head on the snacky container. See, it says snackies. And Remo knows what the snacky container looks like.
He also knows what the charcuterie board looks like.
Yeah, we tried to get it at Mom's charcuterie board.
I actually
You said?
No, he actually stole 3 of them. I saw it on video.
Can you speak? Give me a good one. Woof. Good boy. Got a little milk bone. You don't get a dingo stick until the end of the stream. We got one more snacky. Do you want one more snacky? Can I shake? Speak. Touch. Good boy. There we go. All right. It's printing pretty good.
Pretty smooth.
It is printing pretty smooth. Cali Cat. I have Cali Cat on my computer, but dogs are better than cats. I like cats. But I like my. Go ahead, tell Diesel. Diesel's the best kitty though, because he doesn't do anything.
No.
He doesn't throw up on my stuff.
Cyril is great, okay?
He doesn't throw up on my stuff. What did I drop? That's a support I pulled off the fan duct. What speed is it at? I slice at 60 millimeters a second, and it's at 150%. So, but you got to remember, you got acceleration and jerk. But since we have the screen on here, we can go ahead and uncap it, because I can actually change those settings on here. Configuration, advanced settings. We're going to do acceleration. So I have it set pretty conservative. So we got it set at 500 for default and 1,000 max for X and Y. I'm going to go ahead and bump the max up to 2,000 for X and Y. And I'm going to set the default to 1,000. And we should see faster speed. So give me 1 second here. Okay, X is at 2,000. Y is almost there. Just rotate my knob. Yes.
Okay.
He will not show up.
He's asking.
He will not show up in the chat because he cannot be trusted to behave himself. His parents should be very disappointed. Alright, so there you go. So I doubled the default acceleration and doubled the max, so it should go a little bit quicker. I'm going to push it up a little bit faster just to say...
Put this dog in my car.
In your cart? Oh, the little Cali dog?
It's gonna go right on my desk. So many of them.
It's going.
Yeah, I hope people have those stickers on the back of their cars, like with the stick people and the animals.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna have fucking Cali dogs and Cali cats.
I saw one that says, it was like a decal that says, my German Shepherd ate your stick figure family.
You should get that.
It's such a stupid idea. You're literally telling people how many kids and stuff you have. Like, makes it great to, you know, if someone's planning on trying to find people to target. I mean, it's going. I mean, you know, I could make it go faster, but I like my prints to actually look like prints. So I have not messed with Super Slicer, but I have heard that one. Here's the thing: Simplify 3D does what I need it to do. It's why I haven't moved away from it.
I like Simplify.
Like, I mean, Krista's using Simplify. I've got so many licenses, and I just put it on the computer she uses. Um, but use whatever you guys want. I use S3D. And I remembered why I stopped using Kira because my print farm tech Sean, he uses Kira at home, and he was telling me about how Kira pushed an update and broke a bunch of stuff, and I was like, yeah, that's why I don't care that S3D hasn't updated it in like a year and a half or whatever it's been, because it works. And I don't care about having the fanciest features. I care about being able to slice parts and be able to print. So, you know, for the hobbyist that the printer is the hobby, yeah, go ahead and use Kira. But for people that actually make money with the printers and need their printers to actually work and the slicers to work, that's where S3D comes in handy. This is printing pretty good. So at least it's a decent printer. My gripe is the fact that it costs a premium price and it has barely functional firmware out of the box. And like, a lot of the people that do printer videos and stuff, they're not very technical, so they don't catch a lot of the little stuff that I do. So it might not be immediately apparent where the problems are, but I like to thoroughly test everything, and I expect everything that they advertise to, at a bare minimum, work out of the box, and this printer did not deliver on that. That's what I'm saying. So it's not like we paid a premium price for this printer and everything worked out of the box. It was the opposite. So it makes it hard for me to recommend it, and our channel does not live off of affiliate sales like other people's channels do. So I'm not saying people intentionally, will give a printer that sucks a good review, even though I have seen that quite frequently. But if you don't give a printer a good review, it's kind of hard to make sales and convince people to buy it, which then, cuts into your bottom line of making money. Whereas we fund all the printer purchases because we buy them and get the money to buy them through sales for our shop. So we're not beholden to have to worry about affiliate sales. So I can be brutally honest and tell you something sucks and not have to worry about not making sales on the printer. I've seen so many people that recommend like the bluer printers from Two Trees, and they're garbage. The company's a terrible company. They don't support their stuff. The printers are dog shit. And they do it because they want to make the affiliate sales, and another thing too is if the company sent them the printer for review, if you give them a bad review, a lot of these Chinese companies will just stop sending you printers and even bully you and harass you if you put up a bad review that they don't like, even if it's honest. So, our whole thing is go ahead, Creality, get mad at me for, being honest about your product sucking. There's nothing you need to stop me from getting their products, because even if you somehow block me from buying them, I can always get them through proxies. So I do think if you have the patience and you have the capabilities to upgrade an Ender, I would definitely go the route of upgrading an Ender 3 Pro versus spending the extra money on this. Linear Advance, I've tried it multiple times. Some people swear by it. I didn't see enough of a print quality difference, and it ended up just being more of a headache than it's worth. So I do not run Linear Advance on any of my machines. Nereus, I will not recommend Two Tree stuff at all because they are a shady ass company. Go look at the video about the Bluer. They did very shady stuff, and I'm not going to tell people to buy, a company that is, as bad as they are. Like Creality is not very good with their support. None of these Chinese companies are, but Two Trees takes it to a whole nother basement level of crap. So, Troxy. Troxies are pieces of shit. They also have never complied with the GPL licensing. There's a lot better their printers out there. Stay away from Troxy as a whole. I will never recommend their printers. I've had some myself, and they've all been dog shit. So, yeah, Troxy won't send us anything because we did not give them a good review. And Bluer, Two Trees, Two Trees, they're never going to send us anything ever again. Yeah, I don't care. The Two Trees as a company, they will not. Good luck getting any replacement parts. They wouldn't even send us replacement parts for the printer that they sent us to review.
Sounds
Like I would sooner buy an ANET, a used ANET, over a new Tronxy. Tronxy is garbage. Don't buy Tronxies. I would buy a TiVo or a Two Trees printer over Tronxy. That's how bad Tronxies are. Is it true that TiVo / Homer is gone? I hope to God so. Those guys rebranded to try to reboot the business after they screwed over a ton of people over in China and their customers. They're terrible people. I mean, this is printing good now. I just realized I did not go over the rest of the eccentric nuts on there. But I think the upright ones are doing pretty good. So, but this print will be going downstairs on my second office desk. And like I said, I got a Palette 2S Pro, which is sitting under here. I was waiting on a scroll wheel part that came in a few days ago. So I'm going to be playing with multicolor printing on here. The last thing I'm going to do is once I finish designing the EZABL mount is I'll replace the CR Touch with the EZABL on here. And then that'll be it. Pixamillion i3. I had a Pixamillion i3. I got it as a review unit. That thing was a pile. I gave it to one of my friends for free because I didn't want to deal with it, and he was like, "I can part it out if it ends up being bad." Pixamillion is also another brand. I don't even know if they're still around, but I remember buying it. I think it was in 2018 or 2017. I will say though, I'll bring Krista's little printer up here. The Ender 2 Pro has been a great little machine. Like it's been very reliable. And here, I'll bring up the camera stream. There we go. So there we go. There's her little Ender 2 Pro doing its job. You can see there the prototype for the EZFlex micro is on here. The micro has been working great. She hasn't had any issues using it, which is good because she's very new to 3D printing, and if she can use it and not have problems, that's what I'm looking for. So yeah, it's a little Easter egg. I do like the Ender 2 Pro. I do think Creality hit kind of a good spot with that. It's not too expensive. It's not too cheap. It's got all the features you could want. It's got a decent board. My main gripe on that is the proprietary power supply. And eventually I'll design something that can be like a printed part with a Meanwell and a receptacle and stuff. But I've had a lot of other tasks on my plate. But the Ender 2 Pro has been solid. I can't really complain. Or the Ender 2 Pro, sorry. The EZFlex Micro has a pre-calibrated distance. It's fixed at 2 millimeters. Yeah, so here, let me switch over this. This is the print quality. So the modifications to her Ender 2 Pro are, it's got tough tube on it, it's got our aluminum extruder on it, EZABL, solid bed mounts, and firmware. So there's not a ton of major updates to it. It's a stock layer fan. I changed out the hot end fan to one of ours because it's quieter, but this is the print quality we're getting off of the Ender 2 Pro. Like, you see here, nice flat layer. Like, the tolerances are good. I went and bought some random filaments because, like, I do primarily print with coax, but occasionally, like, because coax doesn't have fancy silks. I can't remember what brand this was. Was this that Amelin stuff? Yeah, it's a Chinese film, but it prints good. But yeah, the Ender 2 Pro has been solid. I like it. been a great little printer. So if you're looking for something small to add to your collection, I highly recommend it. Absolutely highly recommend it. Whee! Yeah, this came out good. Yeah, she sliced this, printed it, and everything. I didn't do anything. She's just been going ham on Thingiverse. This is almost done. This is printing pretty good.
It's really fast.
You can get your Ender 2 Pro to go faster, too.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, well, because the faster you go, the lower the print quality gets in general. So... we're not making a thing.
Right.
Come on, it can go. I'm going to double check, see how Restream is. So we're pushing I'm going from OBS out to Restream.io. And looks like nobody's watching on the CR10 group. So I'm gonna go ahead and just remove that. I'm gonna stream out to our customer group here. Got one person watching on Twitch. I don't know how many people are watching on Twitter. Let me go to Twitter and see if it tells me. I don't think it tells me how many viewers we have on Twitter. No. There's 0. 0 viewers on Twitter. Oh my god, I forgot the bot is responding to questions. I am not checking questions right now. I'm very sorry.
At least people remember.
Is the micro expected to handle probing at higher temps? Yeah, no, it'll be fine. It's got the same specs as our current probes. Which I think the ambient on those is either 70 or 80 C for the max ambient temps. And I haven't seen any issues with drift or anything. Our couple of our guys have them as well, and they've been using them. And they've all been testing great accuracy. They've all been working well, so I'm very, very confident in them. So it'd be a nice little addition to have just in our lineup in general for people that want something really small. They are going to be about $10 more expensive than the 18mm Pros because they are harder to manufacture because of how small they are. But I wanted to have something that has a smaller option for people that want more compact setups. Because I know that is something that people requested. I'm going to try streaming out to our customer Facebook group and see if anybody starts watching.
It's a little late for that, don't you think?
Doesn't matter. It's just one more destination. This whole replay will be on YouTube. And Twitch. And Twitter.
Yeah, good
And Facebook page.
And Facebook. A lot of people keep from Facebook. Oh, there's a guy.
We shouldn't have to be doing all these upgrades on a brand new printer. So just to be clear, the only thing this really needs, in my opinion, is the LCD changeover so you can run firmware that actually works. The stock firmware on this is trash. Absolutely trash. Which Core XY printer will you spend your own money on? Ender 6. I really like the Ender 6. If you want something a little more expensive, and actually thinking about it, I paid $450 for this Ender 3S1. The Ender 6 is like $550 to $600. I feel like the Ender 6 is a lot better bang for your buck than the S1. Lightspeed, aka Steven, Krista says she likes your Tic Tacs. You kids and your Tic Tacs! I had orange Tic Tacs, and we were happy with them. Those orange Tic Tacs are delicious. I love the orange Tic Tacs.
There's a thing on Thingiverse where you can make a Tic Tac gun.
We should actually have the rest of the parts for the Ender 6 enclosures if you guys are waiting on those. In about a week and a half tops, I'm gonna be bugging my buddy Joe, who's doing the extrusion, tapping, and cutting and everything, and see where he's at with them. There's a little thing popped up. I think the nozzle will probably hit and go back over it. Let's see. Or is it gonna knock it off the plate? I mean, it's going pretty quick. Oh, it just went through it. I love the orange Tic Tacs. They're so good. Cinnamon? Cinnamon Tic Tacs are disgusting. I hate cinnamon Tic Tacs. Ugh. Ugh. We're almost done. We're at 94%.
It's not bad for the speed dog.
No, it's gone. Give us time to chat. You posted links? Oh, you got on Thangs. You didn't go Thingiverse, you got on Thangs. Thangs. Them things. You popping them things? Just order a second E6. I thought about ordering another one because here's the thing. I have one in my office and I use that a lot, especially for prototyping because it is quick. Basically, I have the Ender 6 with the 0.4 nozzle. If I need something quicker with a bigger nozzle, I've got the Daedalus behind me with a 0.4 or 0.6 nozzle. I used to use my Ender 3 Pro a lot, but it is down for maintenance, so there'll probably be a stream on that. I'm gonna be replacing the hot end cooling setup and everything. But I mean, like I said, physically this printer is not a pile. It's software, but that is something you need to take into account when evaluating a printer for review. Because if the hardware can be as good as you want, but if the software is shit, it's dead on arrival, you know? Like, imagine if we put out our Easy board, which is, you know, a high-quality board. I'm like, well, you know, yeah, it's physically great, but, you know, the software, we'll get to it when we get to it. No, people would be yelling and screaming at us. Look at that. Oh, boof. Oh, no. Say, you notice where I didn't clean the bed? So yeah, if you put insulation on clean, I'm gonna have to like wipe it down. Clean the bed! I knew better. Oh, do you guys notice here? Look at the EZNeos. They're green. So when the print finishes, they turn green automatically. And as soon as you press a button on the LCD, they go back to white. But let's check this out. I'm not doing a Hero Me. The Hero Me is a good cooler, but it's needlessly complicated. I'm doing something. I think I'm doing the red squirrel. I have it printed. I just have to do it. All right. If you guys were waiting on the 235 flex plates, we have them now. So, let's see. Focus. In the words of AVE, focus, you fuck. Yeah, I mean, it prints like an Ender 3. Looks pretty good. Got some wispies there. Probably my fault, but look at here. Okay, look at the overhangs. This is what the 5015 fan does. So on the stock fans, on basically all of Creality's printers that have the single side, you'll have really crappy overhangs. This is why I put the 5015 fans with the fancy ducks on them, because you get really nice overhangs. So I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this print quality. If I just ignore the fact that I think it's too expensive, then it's a good printer. But yeah, there we go. Cali Dog. Yeah, you can see there where the little booger popped up, but whatever. It's not under extruding. I got my E-steps calibrated, so if you're using our firmware, they're already calibrated for the stock extruder. But looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. What do you guys think?
Give it a 6.
You give it a 6 out of 10? Okay. See what your little Ender 2 can do. You peasant with your Ender 2. Mine's a 3. It's one better than 2. Anyways, does anybody have any other questions? Here's your doggy. That was loud. That was very loud. Yeah, so I will be keeping the S1. I know I said in the video that I wouldn't, but like I said, I talked to my team and I was just thinking about it. I was like, you know what? Like my main complaint's the price, but I really should have it on hand. Just in case we need to do development stuff on it. But Nathan, I don't know if you're watching, but thanks for recommending this 5015 duct. Fantastic upgrade. Yeah. But let me know. But I think we're gonna wrap this up. It's 11 o'clock. We've been streaming for almost 3 hours now. I am gonna do a little giveaway. What do you guys think? You want to do a giveaway? A little giveaway here. Let me fire up the chatbot now. For just because the chatbot only works on YouTube, I'm gonna give you guys a second to move over. If you guys want to participate in the giveaway, move over to YouTube and you can chat on YouTube. Just go to youtube.th3dstudio.com. The link to the fan duct is in the video description. So I got it from Prusa's site. It was a Creative Commons attribution license, so I attributed it. The problem is the stock file, if you go to slice it, the duct and the base are actually just 2 files, and he didn't rebuild it into one, so I repaired it and also oriented it. So they're on our website. So if you go to our website, the duct is actually on our website under the STL section of the Help Center. And if you are going to print it in PETG or ABS. I did mine in ABS. If you can't print ABS and you want an ABS, go ahead and send us a message and we can print it for you. So, but yeah, let's do a little giveaway. So if you guys are watching on other platforms, come over to YouTube so you can enter the giveaway. We will not, we don't have multi giveaway bot support or multi-channel, I should say, bot support right now. I'm still working on it. So let me see. We'll do a giveaway here. All right. We're going to set the timer for 2 minutes. And we're going to give away an EZABL Pro Kit. How's that? Or a $60 gift card to the shop. How's that? All right, to enter, you're going to type !! dingo stick. All one word. Yay, the bot is working. Thank God. Yep. See all their names coming in? My screen here? Hell yeah. All right. Time remaining. Got 1:30. After that, it's automatically going to go ahead and close it and pick a winner. Do you guys like my chat here? Do you think this is a welcome addition to the live streams, or is this annoying? Give me your honest feedback. You think it's annoying? Krista thinks it's annoying. I think it's neat. And also, here's the thing. Also, for the replays, YouTube doesn't always put the live chat replay, so now it's on the actual video, so YouTube can't screw it up. I also have here, I'm going to show you here, I got a new overlay for the Ask Tims. Look at that. You like that? A little overlay there.
You didn't show them your new logo yet.
My new logo. Oh, it's right here in the corner. My logo's right here. See? Ask Tim. Q&A live stream. I'm fancy. All right, 20 seconds remaining. What's up? 75 people what?
Yes,
Stuck around?
nobody knows about your new logo.
It's a no, not. They're thinking you're talking about the company logo. We're not changing the company logo. They saw it. It's right here. It's right here. There it is. Right here. Right here. See, just a little thing. Ask Tim Q&A live stream. So that'll be up during the Ask Tims every Wednesday. All right, you guys ready? We're gonna pick a winner, and the winner is Derek. Derek, my man. Derek, you have won. Please speak up in chat. Look at that. Look at that bot. Fancy. All right. Derek. Derek, okay, send me a PM with your email. I know you're on Discord. And I will let me know what you want. If you want an EZABL Pro Kit or you want the $60 gift card for the shop. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Now we have to give Remo a dingo stick. Hey, Remo, do you want a dingo stick? His ears pop up. Remo, do you want a dingo stick?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, sit. Speak. Woof. Give me a big one. Shake. Good boy. Nice to meet you, mister.
Don't like that attitude.
Good boy. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your time. I'm looking forward to playing with this printer more now that I've had my way with it. I'm kind of getting motivated now to work on my Ender 3 Pro. I'm going to put some Neos on here. Woo! Gotta love the Neos. Krista now wants NeoPixels for her printer. So if you guys want to check out stuff, everything that I put on this printer is in the video description aside from the installation. But if you just type installation in the site, th3dstudio.com at the search, there's one listing. So I've been using this stuff for years. It works great. So anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Make sure you guys sign up for our YouTube notifications. They're in the bottom. Also follow us on the TikToks, aka TikTok. At TH3D Studio, we're on there too. Let's help us get to 1,000 followers so we can live stream on there too, because I will stream on here and all the other platforms and even TikTok. So anyways, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And if you have Ender 3S1, go ahead and pick up the LCD kit and say goodbye to that color one and all the buggy firmware. So I actually made these printers work correctly. Anyways, I hope you guys have an awesome night. Hope you had a good weekend. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday on the next Ask Tim. Take it easy.